Hey everybody, welcome to Stock Abilities. In this video, I'm going to be covering Trump and Biden taking part in separate town hall events. Essentially, they were going to meet face to face in kind of a live debate yet again. Obviously, this didn't happen. So instead of doing that again, they did this weird kind of town hall thing. A little bit different than, your usual traditional thing. But in this video, I'm going to cover the highlights, play back some clips, some things like that. So make sure to watch through the whole video to get the whole impact of what you might have missed through this event. And do some commentary throughout the video as well. But we're going to play
Did
it
you
here
take
for
a
you.
test on the day of the debate, I guess is the bottom line.
I probably did, and I took a test the day before and the day before, and I was always in great shape. And I was in great shape for the debate. As president, I can't be locked in a room someplace for the next year and just stay and do nothing. And every time I go into a crowd, I was with the parents of our fallen heroes. These people are the most incredible people. And they came up to me and they would hug me and they would touch me. And I'm not going to not let them do it.
When a president
Kind of a big tangent there. It just kind of goes in a little bit of a rant there. Not anything all that impactful for, the markets or anything, just that he's in great health and that obviously he does make a good point that as president, he can't just hide away for the whole day, whole year, whatever. He still has a lot to do. And with the upcoming election, if he wins, he has a lot more to do after that.
Doesn't wear a mask or makes fun of folks like me when I was wearing a mask for a long time, then people say, well, it mustn't be that important.
After contracting COVID-19 yourself, has your opinion changed on
Basically, he's kind of bashing Trump on this. Trump wasn't really for wearing a mask, wasn't really for thinking that COVID was all this big of a thing. Ultimately, I feel that even at this point, it's still a little bit of an exaggerated virus, but that's just my personal opinion. Obviously, it supposedly hit a lot of deaths, things like that. Feel free to share in the comments below your own input on coronavirus as well, and on this, this whole debate thing.
the importance of mask wearing?
No, because I was okay with the masks. I was good with it, but I've heard many different stories on masks.
If you listen to the head of the CDC, he stood up and he said, while we're waiting for a vaccine, and he held up a mask. You wear this mask, you'll save more lives between now and the end of the year than if we had a vaccine.
I knew it was a big threat. At the same time, I don't want to panic this country.
Masks, subjective. I feel that a lot of people aren't utilizing the mask properly to begin with. So, in my personal opinion, actually wearing the mask is likely more spreading the virus than it is helping, because people are going to reuse masks. People aren't going to really properly care for it. They're probably not going to properly wash it. It gets to a little bit of a point where, bacteria are carried. A lot more people are probably wearing gloves as well. Obviously, it's going to carry the virus more. Gloves might protect you, but then when you're touching all these surfaces, if you pick up the virus on those gloves and you touch another surface, you're going to go past that virus around a lot more aggressively.
I don't want to go out and say everybody's going to die.
Isn't there a middle ground? You don't have to
there's not a
mislead,
middle
but you
ground.
can.
No, there's not a middle ground. You have to be safe, you have to be vigilant, and you have to be smart.
Besides, you ain't black. What do you have to say to young black voters who see voting for you as further participation in a system that continually fails to protect them?
Well, I say, first of all, as my buddy John Lewis said, it's a sacred opportunity and right to vote. You can make a difference. If young black women and men vote, you can determine the outcome of this election. Not a joke. You can do that.
Mr. President, what will you
Not
and your
super
administration do to better prepare
Didn't
our
really
law
answer the
enforcement officers to work in collaboration with the communities that they serve, and also to protect the lives of innocent Black and Latinos from police brutality and injustice?
Right. I fully understand the question, and I saw everything that you saw over the summer, and it was a terrible thing to watch. And some people don't like it when I say it, but a lot of people agree. I have done more for the African American community than any president, with the exception of Abraham Lincoln.
You said you don't want to ban fracking. As you know,
Subjective.
it's an important issue here in Pennsylvania. Not everyone buys your denial. A member of the Boilermakers Local 154, Sean Stefani, was quoted in the New York Times today saying, you can't have it both ways. He says you can't meet your goal to end fossil fuels without ending fracking. What do you say to people like Sean who doubt your denial because they think you want to keep that promise?
Tell them
and
the Boilermakers overwhelmingly endorse me, okay? What I would do is I would stop giving tax breaks
This is a silly,
and subsidizing oil. We don't need to subsidize oil any longer, number one. We should stop that and save billions of dollars over time. What I would also do with regard to, the difference between me and the new Green Deal, they say automatically by 2030, we're going to be carbon free. Not possible.
So are you for it or against it? You say you're not for it, but in your website it says you call it a crucial framework. The Green New Deal.
My deal is a crucial framework.
I'm sure they'll ask you, though.
He got a little confused what he said on his website, and it's compared to what he says in person. It's a fun one.
White supremacy question. I denounce white supremacy.
Okay.
And frankly, you want to know something? I denounce Antifa, and I denounce these people on the left that are burning down our cities that are run by Democrats who don't
All right,
know what
while
they're
we're
doing.
denouncing, let me ask you about QAnon.
I just don't know about QAnon.
You do know.
I don't know. No, I don't know. What I do hear about it is they are very strongly against pedophilia. And I agree with that. I mean, I do agree with that, and I agree
but
with it
there's not
very
a
strongly.
satanic pedophile
I have
cult
no
being run
idea.
by.
I know
You
nothing
don't know
about
that? Okay.
No, I don't know
You
that.
just
And neither-
this
neither
week.
do you know that.
Okay, just this week, you retweeted to your 87 million followers a conspiracy theory that Joe Biden orchestrated to have SEAL Team 6, the Navy SEAL Team 6, killed to cover up the fake death of bin Laden. Now, why would you send a lie
I know
like that
nothing
to your
about
followers?
it.
You retweeted
That was
it.
a retweet. That was an opinion of somebody, and that was a retweet. I'll put it out there. People can decide for themselves.
You're
I don't
the
take a
president.
position.
You're not like someone's crazy uncle.
He
Your
has a
own
good point.
FBI director
Just
says
because he
there
retweeted
is
something
no
doesn't know-
evidence of
and he knows every single
widespread
thing in the
fraud.
video
Then he's
or the
not doing a
content.
very good job.
If I'm elected president, you will not hear me race baiting. You'll not hear me dividing. You'll hear me trying to unify. And unify bring people together. When I said I was running because I wanted to unify the country, people said, well, they were the old days. We better be able to do it again.
Great.
We better be able to do it again.
Mr. Vice President, if you lose, what will that say to you about where America is today?
Well, it could say that I'm a lousy candidate and I didn't do a good job.
Oh, that's true.
But I think, I hope
He's been trying to run since the 80s. Hasn't won yet.
it doesn't say that we are as racially, ethnically, and religiously at odds with one another as it appears.
Hey, NBC News viewer.
So the short answer is not a whole lot was said. Not a whole lot was done in these speeches. This was just highlights of the speech. They kind of go back and forth with a lot of drama stuff, but really nothing all that beneficial, at least to the markets in that regard. I think the focus should be more on McConnell and things like that, how that skinny bill progresses into next week's voting. That'll have more of an impact on the stock market overall. Just a little bit more I wanted to cover in this video here. A lot of different things that Biden's been up to. Essentially, he will support adding members to the Supreme Court, his work on the 1986 and 1994 crime bills, and his position on fracking and the Green New Deal. He's also forced to explain his controversial comment that if black Americans don't support him, you ain't black. And two separate hauls, obviously, seen back and forth there with a little bit of the highlights. Let's see if there's anything else really worth mentioning here. Sometimes he sounded hesitant about condemning white supremacists. I wouldn't say that just from watching that quick highlight video that was really the case. He just didn't really know a lot about what she was asking, and he was trying to explain that. The interviewer wasn't really listening. And of course, with Biden, it's a little bit different. There's policy talk and then more relaxed kind of comedic version for Trump. Went back and forth and back and forth. He mentioned that he took a test. Nothing all that exciting. More about his health over anything else. More about the American people and coronavirus and wearing masks, not wearing masks. Essentially, it was more of an entertainment than I would say a political debate over anything else. It was still, parts were still interesting to watch. It was interesting to watch the highlights, things like that. If you guys ended up watching this, feel free to leave in the comments below your own input. He did do, Biden and Trump had answered some other questions like, court packing and things like that, and they go into explanations, all that fun stuff. I'll link in the description below all of that information if you guys want to learn more about, the whole debate. Ironically, as weird as it is to say, CNN covers it pretty well what was mentioned, although parts of it are a little bit biased. But hey, that's all subjective to the person. Check it out in the description below if you want more content. Thanks for listening in, guys. I am heading to sleep here, but have a nice day depending on when you're watching this. Feel free to leave in the comments below, like I said, your own input on this. Feel free to subscribe to the channel if you want more content just like this.